time to check out some of these mystery metals. I got my electric furnace set up here, my very old and worn down crucible, cleaned it up as much as possible because the last time I used it, it was for brass and it made a mess. And well, it's basically worn down, and I think this might be one of the last times I'm going to be using it. I assume the pile of connection boxes here are mostly zinc. I have melted these before, and they turned into a nice shiny ingot that was looked like aluminium, but it was really heavy, so I'm kind of assuming it's zinc, and I think it melted a bit sooner. So I'm gonna start with, because these don't fit in the crucible, I'm gonna take out this bit, which is loose, and take out all the screws and take off the little, I think it's aluminium because it's also not magnetic. Take out the screws and take a couple of these things, put them in the crucible, and then set the temperature for 450 degrees Celsius. Zinc melts at 420, so at 450 it should melt, because if I set it to 420 it's going to be like meh, probably just on the point of not wanting to melt yet, and getting a little extra temperature will then melt it, and then I will kind of know for sure that it's zinc or either some zinc alloy. Maybe it has aluminium in it, because you can alloy zinc and aluminium. But I'm just going to try to get the same type of these connection boxes and get all the same bits in there and see if it can melt. And if I can, then I'm going to fill up my zinc crucible over there, the fire extinguisher, which is still has some leftover zinc in it from wheel weights, and it's turned out a bit rusty because I haven't used it in a while. But yeah, these are disposable. I have a lot of these left, so and if you're careful not to overheat everything, you will not burn through them as fast as I did my previous ones, because I have had a few that I burned through like the second time I used them, but then I was just stoking and adding, and I'm gonna do some shorter burns from now on with these little fire extinguishers. So I'm gonna take a lot of these apart, of these things out, put them in there, and then we'll see what happens. So hang on. Alright, got the whole pile done here. I have gotten quite a bit of these little parts. I might be able to fill up the whole crucible with this. So let's get them all in there and see if I can melt them at 450 degrees. I'm gonna gently slide them in because I don't want to break out the bottom while tossing them in too hard. Might even have to, like, halfway when stuff is melted, add to it, because I'm not sure all of these are gonna fit in here. We'll see. This one has some slight paint on it, but that will burn off, I assume. Oh, there we go, almost full already. Well, just about got everything in there. Let's leave these out for now. Okay. In there. Let's set the temperature. Oh, it's at 1100. Set this. Can I go down? Yes. What did I say? 450. There we go. Wait, what if I do it like this? That's a little faster, yeah. 450. There we go. Go, 450. Let's close the cap. And now we wait. Alright, 450. It's even going over a bit. That's not a bad thing. Let's see. It's probably not gonna melt right away, but I'm so used to seeing it being red hot, like over 1,000 degrees, but now it's not, of course. The top part is not even warm. It is falling to the bottom a bit, so I think the bottom stuff might be melted. Let's close that up and wait a bit. Oh, it's going up quite a bit higher even. 480. Maybe I'll just adjust it to go down a bit. Set it to 440. Let's see what happens. Well, I'm gonna wait and see if this melts, and if it melts, I'll show you the results in a bit. So while we wait for the whole bundle of things to melt, I thought I'd preheat my mold like I usually do with the little burner. I don't have the big forge set up yet, so I can't put the molds in there. So I'm preheating them like this because I'm thinking if I get all of these in there, then I might be able to cast one nice little bar at least. So let's see how this is doing. Oh, that has sank down quite a bit. Can hardly see with this light in there. This lack of light, I should say. Get a few more in there. These should weigh down on the stuff that's hot and just about melted. And where's my spatula? Yeah, I can almost push them down. Oh, it's hissing. That's usually, don't want to put too much pressure on it because I don't want to like break the crucible. Let's see, 2 more. Am I able to get those in there? Maybe I am. As you might imagine, when melting like brass and copper, which is close to 1,000 and copper is over 1,100 degrees, I'm not doing this with my bare hands. There we go. So let's wait a bit more until the whole lot is melted and then try to pour an ingot. I'm gonna need to find a tile that's level because I want a nice straight ingot. Let me see here. And I have some tools for this. Mainly Mjolnir. Not just a hammer, but these are the tools of creation. See? Claw hammer and all kinds of goodies in there. And also a tiny level. So put this aside. This is a very cool toy, by the way. Got this somewhere off the internet. I have no idea what it cost. My girlfriend got it for me. Let's see. This is somewhat not level. Maybe this one. No. This is going to take some time to figure out. Oh, this one seems okay here. Let's see. almost. I'm gonna figure out where to place the mold, and then when the whole lot is melted, let's pour something. Alright, got a few things set up. I set the temperature a bit higher because it did melt at 450, but yeah, that took quite a bit to get the whole thing melted. So I set it to 650 when I noticed that it was melting. So I'm kind of certain that it is zinc, maybe with something else in it, but it melts at 450. So zinc melts at 420. Can basically go from there. I got my slag tray from the zinc wheel weights, and this is all the slag that I have. It's basically one huge chunk which I have to break apart and remelt at some point to get some of the zinc that's still in there. And of course some slag formed here, so I'm gonna just drop that here. This is the most level tile I could find, so nicely in the center. This the mold should be like red hot by now almost. Same as this, because this has all melted. And I need to kind of scoop off this blob here because the liquid stuff is at the bottom. And this, as you can see, is not so much liquid. It is like a little jelly pile. I have to probably remelt that at some point as well. It's kind of annoying that, see, it does take a bit of the liquid stuff with it. Yeah. So, yeah, that looks good. All right, let's get this set up here for optimal pouring and viewing. So yes, this can go off on the other side. This goes in there. Where is my channel locks? Put that here. Smoking hot. Let's see if I can get a slightly nicer angle here. Yeah. Where's my tongs? There we go. So take this out. I have to have the pouring bit on the correct side here. Although it probably doesn't matter that much now that the crucible is gone so far. Alright, let's see if I can get a nice shot here. Hope this will work. Ooh. That is quite nice. A nice zinc got. It is actually possible that the mold is also over 450 degrees now, because I've been burning at it for over 10 minutes. Let's get this last bit of slag that's in there into the slag tray. Well, that's the advantage of these graphite crucibles. Just about everything, yeah, just about everything comes out. There we go. Turn this thing off. Hoppa. I'm not gonna tap the mold because then it will probably start rippling or something, because this looks like quite a nice smooth surface. It is, however, somewhat stinky, but yeah, that's zinc for you, I guess. So let's wait until this cools and hardens, and then drop it out. And we have a nice little zinc got. Alright, about 15 minutes went by. I took apart like 6 of these and 4 of these. So let's get these out of the way. And there we go. And let's see if we can get this ingot out. This is probably still quite hot. Yes. Let's get the glove. See if this thing will fall out. Wow. The ground has some discoloration. I'm probably melting the rock, the stone. Probably not with these temperatures. So let's see if this will come out. Oh, there you go, in one go. So this is probably a very hot zinc got. It's somewhat similar looking to the pewter one that I made, or the couple of pewters I made, I should say. Not bad. This is about equal weight. So, yeah. Some tiny bit of shrinkage in there. But other than that, a good, nice zinc got. And I'm gonna have to let go now because it's getting hot. So yeah, that was a nice one. I'm gonna continue with the mystery metals in a bit, and then you'll see more of it. Okay, for the next part of the mystery metal meltdown, I got a lot of these coax cable splitters. I have to remove these when I see these because these are old, and replace them with new stuff. And yeah, I just took all the old ones just out of curiosity to see what they are made of. I took one of them apart and got two halves of this basically. I ran a file across the back side and shaved it on the floor a bit and to see what was underneath. No different color came up. I think the lighting in here is not that good for discerning different color. I also snipped one apart. I just took an ear off, and the inside is basically still gray. Now this is quite light compared to the zinc connection boxes I had. I think this might be aluminium. Not sure though, but I'm gonna start with like 450 degrees again, and if it's not melting, I'm gonna go for 700, I think, because aluminium melts at 660 degrees Celsius, so 700 should work. But first I'm gonna have to take all of these apart, and I think I'm gonna start with just a few, like a couple of them, so I can still see the bottom of the crucible and can tell if it's actually melted. So I'm gonna go take them apart and then dump them in the crucible and set the forge for 450 and see what happens. So these things seem to be melting at 450 as well. Let's see if I can get some good light in there. The advantage of having two phones. Let's see. As you can see, there is some melting going on. And to speed up the process, I set it to 500. As you can see. And yeah, this stuff is melting. So it's not aluminium, or at least not completely all aluminium. I'm guessing this is more zinc. Or at least some form of alloy that has quite a bit of zinc in it. So I'm gonna continue taking these apart and yeah, then tossing them all in, and that's not gonna be an entire ingot. I'll just pour it in the mold as it is and see what I can do with it later. Alright, mold is heating up again. I'm getting somewhat tired of this. So I got another pile of stuff that's not magnetic, and the stuff in here is all nice and molten. Let me shed some light on the situation here. Don't drop it. So, nice melty pile of mystery metal. No idea what it is. And now we're gonna add in all of this. And there we go. Well, the fact that it melts at about 450 degrees doesn't really say that it's zinc. Could be something completely different, some weird alloys in there. There we go, get in there. And I now have it set to 600 because I wanted to speed this up a bit because it is getting late. Let's close this for now. Wait until that's all liquid and then pour it in the mold and see what comes out. And then maybe continue on with some more serious projects. But anyway, it's fun to just melt random stuff. So let's see what happens. Alright, let's scoop off some of the dross, if there is any. Should be a little, I guess. And get this stuff poured because it's getting late. I set it to 750, so now it's glowing. I think I got everything that was interesting enough to melt in here. I think I might have some brass in here as well because there's some of the whatchamacallit, that fluffy stuff is forming. Alright, let's turn this off. Come on. Back in the same spot as before. Let's see if I can get a good view of this. Yeah, that should work. Nice and shiny hot. Let's see what comes out. Well, I kind of have the feeling that there was some zinc in there and maybe some brass and some aluminium. You never know. Well, big mystery pile, I guess. Let's get some of this dross out. Back in the furnace and let it cool gradually off. Oh yeah. Mystery metal meltdown complete, I guess. Because, well, as fun as this sounded, it was not that interesting. Apart from all of the stuff I kind of knew that was zinc, which I will be using for a future project. See if this has cooled already. Okay, how about now? Oh, well, that worked pretty easy. Let's see, can I hold this? Guess not. I got a shiny part and a less shiny part. This thing is hot. Pliers. I need my pliers. Come on. This is a crappy video so far. Well, the beginning part with this one was nice. Zinc one. Yeah, looks just about the same. but I'm kind of sure there's more aluminium in here, judging by the way the top looks. And the shiny bit is probably zinc, and the rest is probably aluminium. I have no idea why it turned into two different patterns, like shiny and less shiny. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing with this thing. Probably remelting it at some point and adding it to a scrap pile of whatever. So yeah, so far for Mystery Metal Meltdown. I'm gonna start on some different projects. I'll see you on the next one.